Welcome back to the Midlife Grace podcast. Today, I am thrilled to have a special guest on the show. You know, I truly love sharing this space with incredible voices who bring you such value, guidance, and support. I can't wait for you to meet our guest today. She is someone who truly brings a fresh perspective and inspiration to the table. I met her in a Christian group, and I knew right then when I met this beautiful woman that we were meant to do something together. So it's by God's grace we're here. So get ready to be inspired by her. She is a speaker, a dual neuro recording specialist, a brain health coach with Dr. Amen. She is the author of the #1 Kindle release, The Magic of Dreaming Big. You know, she also has achieved great success in many things. She's known as Coach D. She's a powerhouse in neuroscience with practical strategies. You know, as the founder of the Neuro Recording Institute, Dominika has advised the Polish president, the collaborator with the parliament, also represented business owners in the national negotiations. She's an award-winning speaker across the US stages, the Europe stages. She's an expert in so many things. She's adapted her business systems into strategies for peak performance to help her clients conquer anxiety, self-doubt, to transform ADHD into a superpower. Wow, wow, wow. She's the proud mom of twin daughters. Dominika Staniewicz, welcome to the show. Where do you begin in all this, honey?
Well, hello, Ginger. Hello. I'm so excited to be here and thank you for having me.
I'm so grateful you are here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely thrilled. So, well, when did I do it? It's just, I'm one of those that when I get interested in something, I just dive in and I just go. I go full speed ahead. And although a lot of failures come with it, also a lot of success does too. And I think that's something that I really enjoy because growth, when we don't grow, we die.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the saying says, when you don't use what you have, you lose. So that's so true. So true. So tell me, how do you prevent a personality from becoming depressed? You know, having those feelings of highs, lows. How does one prevent that?
That is a very good question. So, neuron coding and neuroscience, those are two techniques. And the truth is that you cannot prevent that because that's a human experience. But what you can do, you can mitigate how high it goes and how it falls. And that is connected to brain health, not mental health. That's a very different thing because your brain is the organ that produces all those feelings. It's not you.
Mm-hmm.
Psychology is like the top level, the result of how the brain functions. So if your brain is struggling, maybe you're not living the way that it supports the brain health. Maybe you are eating wrong. Maybe you are putting yourself in environments that are not helping you. And mind you, our brain has something called a visual cortex, which is half of your brain is responsible for processing visual clues. Not long ago, I was talking about reversed vision boards. See, if
Mm-hmm.
you listen to music and you surround yourself with people who constantly complain, and it's not that they're bad people, but they keep complaining, they're always angry, they're always mad, they're always frustrated. This
Right.
becomes your default behavior due to something called mirror neurons. And what they do, they receive that information and they process that and go, oh, this is the normal behavior. So you start adapting. In Polish, we have a saying, if you go between crows, you need to sound like them. And that's exactly what happens with us. Notice that our behaviors change depending on the environment. And when we talk about
Mm-hmm.
teenagers, we say, the friends matter. Well, guess what? They keep mattering when we're grown-ups. So
Right.
you change your brain? Absolutely. Your brain can actually rewire, change, and optimize itself if you treat it right. But that's an organ. Psychology is the result of how the organ functions.
Wow. That's such valuable insight. Wow. It's like understanding and managing, our mental triggers. That's the key, right? That's the key. And how can we start making that part of our daily routine?
That's a great question. Now, granted, triggers will always be there, but if you learn to recognize them, you can change how they function. But to create a good base, good start, one of the things I'm going to say, they're so simple. It's absolutely insane, but they do work, and there's plenty of science behind it. When you wake up in the morning, instead of pushing the snooze button, I know you do, everybody does, have a glass of water. The moment you open your eyes, the sound comes on, have a glass of water. I guarantee you, 99.9% sure that you're not going back to sleep. There's no need for
Wow.
snooze button. Simple
Wow.
glass of water. Next, if you live in a place where it's pretty warm or it's on a warmer side, the moment you wake up after you had that glass of water, please go outside for 10
Mhm.
minutes.
Mhm.
You will get the sunlight, which is necessary for something called the circadian rhythm.
Mhm.
That will allow to release the good cortisol. We like cortisol when it's
Mhm.
good and when it's supporting us. There's nothing wrong with cortisol. We keep demonizing, oh, cortisol. Cortisol is good unless it's released nonstop.
Right. Right.
So those are the two things you can do. But there are plenty of other things you can put into your routines. Now, if you pray, then
Mhm.
definitely praying would be something I would highly recommend doing in the morning. But the funny thing is, it's not, oh, dear God, thank you for all the blessings, and dear Father, help me be having. No, that doesn't work. What you
Mhm.
need to do, you need to actually feel the prayer. You need to
Mhm.
feel joy to the point where you almost have tears in your eyes and you're
Mhm.
exploding with feelings. Why? Because
All right. Yeah.
setting up you for success that day. Your
Mhm.
brain does not respond to non-emotional triggers. So you need
Mhm.
to create on purpose those positive emotions.
Mhm.
Practicing gratefulness in the morning or meditation is as successful as praying if you do it in a correct way. See, in our life, everything is available and your brain takes everything in. 1.7 billion information a day your brain processes,
Wow.
but consciously only 168,000. So what you
Mhm.
can do, you can actually set yourself up with a question that Dr. Amen and I practice, and many of us do too. I
Mhm.
wonder how today is going to be great. What that does, it asks a question to your brain, and your brain starts searching for
Mhm.
information. How's it going to? So you direct your brain to look for positive outcomes. And positivity doesn't mean to be joyful 24/7. It is
Mhm.
being open to opportunities and
Yes.
joyful things, being able to see them. That is being positive.
Mhm. Awesome. That is so valuable. So, I know we produce oxytocin, we have serotonin, dopamine. Why are these so important?
Oh, I love this question.
Mhm.
So chemicals are actually your feelings. You don't have feelings. What your brain does when it receives a trigger and it reads something from the outside, then it has connections already made and goes, oh, this is this. And it floods your brain and body with chemicals. And those chemicals are serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, prolactin, and few other ones, testosterone.
Mhm.
Now, why are they important? First of all, they create feelings. Now, if feelings are chemicals, you do realize that feelings are not real
Yes.
and they're created by you. So if
Yes.
they're created by you, you can retrain your brain to feel differently in the same situation.
Mhm.
Now, dopamine are very often mixed up because we say,
Mhm.
oh, those happy chemicals. Dopamine is a go-getter chemical. It feels good to pursue. But if you have too much dopamine, then
Mhm.
serotonin receptors in your brain get destroyed. And what happens is you're unable to just be and enjoy. And that is the challenge with balancing those. Both are needed, both are important, because if you're only enjoying and being, you're not getting anywhere in life, right? That's
Right.
not the outcome we want. But also, if you're a people pleaser or A-type personality, you're you're using too much of your dopamine. And what
Mhm.
happens is what's connected always to dopamine is also
Mhm.
prolactin. And
Mm.
that's a chemical many people don't talk about. That's
Right.
a chemical that's connected to postpartum depression and very low lows. If
Wow.
you're dopamine addicted, the reason you keep going very often, not consciously, subconsciously, is not to experience that low low. And we
Mhm.
need to retrain your brain, because that low low can be even suicidal, or you can
Yeah.
take your own life. It's very, very worrying.
Right.
Now, obviously, it doesn't happen the first time or the second, but if you continue that path, at
Mhm.
one point, you will end up in that area. And there are ways to stop this. There are ways to retrain your brain. So those
Mhm.
chemicals are important because they allow us to have a human experience. They
Mhm.
allow us to feel and realize, because they also bind to your memories. So
Mhm.
if something felt good, now granted, I know we're on a PG-13 show, but intimacy, if it wasn't pleasurable, we would die out as a species.
Mhm.
Now,
Right.
oxytocin is a love hormone, very
Mhm.
important one, released in women. And very often we women expect men to bond with kids the same we do. They don't, because they
Mhm.
don't release as
Right.
much oxytocin the moment the child is born.
Right.
That is the
Right.
bonding hormone. It takes time, and the attraction is, and the love is built differently. It so there are plenty of things. And if you look at something called Skinner experiment, and Skinner boxes, that was extremely cruel and challenging experiment. And I'm going to bring that to your attention because for us humans it's so important.
Mhm.
We need physical touch. I don't care how, when, but we need physical touch. So they took
Mhm.
babies that were born, they put them in something called Skinner boxes. And what they did, they fed them without touching them, with a bottle and gloves. They would change their diapers. They were in a good temperature. Within 4 months, all babies died. We are unable to function without human touch and closeness.
Wow.
So that's why the pandemic was so dangerous. That's why not spending time with friends and people,
Mhm.
protecting your personal space without touch. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not inviting anybody to do something that is crossing the boundaries, but you need to have
Right.
people that you're okay with them touching you. Your
Mhm.
brain requires that for proper emotional and physical development.
Yes. Wow. It's fascinating. So these, you know, these feel good chemicals that influence so much of our happiness, our balance. It's
Right.
empowering to know that we can naturally boost these, right?
Absolutely. And we can
Even just,
control them.
yeah, yeah. And I know even just petting a dog, right? Just going and
Absolutely.
petting your dog, and that's the way to create
Dogs,
dopamine.
cats,
It
putting
was
your
so
hand over
examples.
fire. All
Mhm.
of these allow you to release oxytocin, especially real animals. Important part, you need to touch and hug for at least 31 seconds. Some studies
Mhm.
say 27,
Mhm.
31 seconds. And funny enough, some of the couples, I would coach, let's say the woman or the man, and they would
Mhm.
go home and tell their partner and spouse about 31-second rule. So before morning they would leave, they would stand in front of the door and hug for 31 seconds. And you would be surprised how long it takes.
Yeah, yeah,
You should go, oh, hi, hi. That doesn't work for our brain. That does nothing. It has to
right.
be a full-fledged hug, 31 seconds, count it in your head, and you'll be surprised that this is that
I
long.
like a good long hug. You're cutting yourself short if you're not hugging for 31 seconds, right?
There we go, girl. There we go.
Yeah, like hug me 31 seconds. If not, you're cutting yourself short.
You didn't let my oxytocin and serotonin release.
Yeah,
Come on, come
come
back
back.
here. Come
Get
back
back
here.
here. Exactly, exactly. It's so funny how we can control all this, you know? It's in our control.
It's
It's on us to do it. So, mindset and vision boards tell me more about this and why do they work?
That's a great thing. So mindset is actually combined in religion with prayer and belief, and so is meditation. They both work the same for the brain. And they determine how you process information and then what decisions you make. Vision boards speak, and I used to be not the biggest fan of vision boards. I was like, whatever, that's woo stuff, right? There's no science. Until I found out and read enough studies that 50% of our brain is called visual cortex area, and that 50% of it is responsible solely for processing visual clues. Now, we spoke about having friends and the right group. Mirror neurons walk there too. If you experience something, so one of the great exercises, if you want to experience growing your wealth, if you are always in scarcity mindset and you're afraid that's not enough, your behaviors will reflect that. If you believe that there's enough for everybody, you have no problem with sharing. But guess what? Those type of behaviors start attracting people from that area. If you experience something and you start believing this is normal and it's not something big, then the different chemicals start reacting and your behavior changes. So one of the things we do with people who live in a scarcity mindset to recreate kind of a belief that money is there and it's everywhere. You just need to reach out and grab it, right?
Yeah.
It's enough for everybody. There's no need to hoard or be afraid that you're going to lose something. And we put them, for example, we get them a credit card that has flight points. And for those flight points, we put them in business class.
Right.
Experience business class. And guess what? You're on that business class, you're like, those people are so normal. They're just like me. There's nothing different about them. And you go, that felt good. We go on test drives with exclusive cars so you can feel yourself in a place. See, you can't imagine things and you cannot go towards something you've never experienced. Your brain requires that emotional connection that it feels good and that feels normal. So vision boards allow you to also focus your brain, what we spoke about at the beginning, right? Give yourself a direction with gratitude. Vision board, if you keep looking at the same thing, you'll keep experiencing. The best example is when you buy yourself your dream car and you think, oh my God, I have this car, almost nobody has it. Then you have that car, you get on that freaking street and
everybody has it.
The car. Because you start seeing things that are common to you. If you're used to living in poverty, your brain will be set to look for poverty. You need to get yourself out of that environment as often as possible.
And here's what I think too, Dominika, is that this has been passed down generation to generation. It's a generational curse to think like this. If our grandparents thought like that, then our parents thought like that, then we think like that. You know, I made it my ultimate goal with my son to break that generational curse and not have that money lack limitation mindset. And he doesn't. And I am very grateful today that he doesn't, and we can control this. We are in control of how we think about things. You know, although we were brought up when we can break the curse for the next generation.
Absolutely.
We can. We are in control of that. Thank you, Lord. Yeah.
And most people notice that the generations that built wealth, it's not that a lot of those kids keep building wealth if they're raised right. They don't have the mindset. They usually don't lose unless, there's something goes wrong and parents are not parenting, but just fostering their relationship and they're absent. But most people with growth mindset and with financial abundance mindset, that keeps going. And because they're not losing anything, it just keeps growing. And then they end up the powerhouses that they are, right? People with such huge wealth. And it started somewhere. Everybody started with zero at one point, some generations back. And one thing that I find very important with wealth and money mindset, notice when we talk about rich people, at least in Poland, right? I'm not going to talk about US, but in Poland, we always say money doesn't grow on trees. Well, freaking it does if you have a well-producing orchid. Money is the root of all evil. Don't chase after money. People who are rich, for sure, they cheated or they're crooks.
No.
All of that. And what happens is your
Yeah.
brain takes all of that and you go, I want to be a good person. I don't want to be like.
Right, right,
So
right.
subconsciously, you stop actually chasing money. There's nothing wrong with money. Please show me one philanthropist who has changed the world, and there are quite a few of those who have done so much good in the world that is poor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just talking, I have one client who is also working with youth as a youth pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And that person, let's say, is not doing great financially. I'm like, tell me why all the youth pastors are broke.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that is a trend.
Mm-hmm.
All those that I've met are not doing well financially. And guess what? They're passing that mindset to that youth.
Mm-hmm.
That youth needs to see that it's possible to be
Mm-hmm.
wealthy and good and loving and caring and philanthropic and helping others.
Mm-hmm.
But if they see only poor people or people that are not resourceful being helpful, and that's the environment then their brain creates an identity. To be a good
Mm-hmm.
person, you need to be poor.
Right.
That is not true.
That's right. Yeah. You know, I know some of the little ways that I have, you know, through the years just did things differently is, and this is just some advice too. Always, today in today's society, we live with cards, right? We live with that debit card. We don't have to carry cash. We live with a debit card. Well, that's kind of setting yourself up for failure.
Yes.
You should always have cash in front of you. And like for me, I have cash in a cup, cash in my car. Put it, if you want cash and you see it all the time, it's visual. You're going to
Yeah.
see it. You don't need it. I have some. But if you don't see cash and you're like, I have no cash, then you will have no cash, right? So put cash all over, put it in your house, put it in your, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. Just have it visual. Have it visual.
Visual board, right? Vision board. That's the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Just make it visual to you. I know I always see my son, he has cash everywhere. Like he has it in his glove box, he has it in his vehicle, he has it in his house, he has just little cash everywhere. And, I think that if you just throw some dollars here and there all over the house, then you're going to have some cash and you're going to think, I have money. And
Yeah.
when you start looking and you say, oh, I have cash there. And when you look there and you say, oh, I have cash there too, then you start having cash in a lot of places. So, you can control how you think about money and what you think about it. And don't just live by the card, because
Absolutely.
then cash is not in front of you. So tell me a little bit about um, the belief system that it's important, and what is my belief system and how important, and how does that connect with the neuroplasticity and the neural pathways
Great.
response?
Love the question. So I'm going to give you the little trick, and I want you to memorize this because that shows how this works.
Mm-hmm.
As I think,
Mm-hmm.
so I feel. As I feel, so I do. As I do, so I have.
Mm-hmm.
But
I love
before
that.
the think, you have the element of belief.
Mm-hmm.
Because to think something, you have to have a belief. And beliefs are formed by the age of 7 without you even taking a part in it, unless you're self-aware and you did the work. Your beliefs are installed by the environment, by situations, by parents, by aunties, by cousins, by friends, and everything else. And as we said, your brain looks for proof, right? You got to set yourself up. So if you're, for example, and again, we're going to go back to mirror neurons. When you were a little kid, and there are quite a few experiments that are recorded. When the little kid walks and the little kid falls, and mom goes, "Oh, you fell, my baby. Okay, come on, love, let's go," right? The baby goes, "Oh, nothing happened. Okay," so smiles and moves on. But when mom reacts, "Oh my God, what happened? Are you hurt? Everything okay? Is it hurting?" All the babies in the experiment go and start crying
Yeah.
because the mirror neurons received information that is dangerous, that is scary, right? I need to react. So
Yeah.
that happens without parents understanding that they're doing this because we didn't have the science before. So if you're one of those parents, please don't blame yourself because it's not your fault. We didn't know that this is how it works. Now,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so we install those belief systems. And as an adult, using an excuse, that's how my parents were, that's how I was raised, is the worst thing you can do.
Yes. Yes.
Question is that serving you? Are you going where you want to get to? Is that belief that,
Right.
I don't know, people are bad or women that have been hurt by one man, our brain distorts, deletes, and generalizes, goes, all men are bad. Really? All or just that one?
Right.
Right? And maybe he wasn't bad, maybe he was also hurt and he did bad things to you and he
Mhm.
did hurt you and it was cruel, but that was only one person.
Yeah.
So is it true that all? And all of those beliefs create certain biological reaction. As you think, so you
Right.
feel, right? So when you feel that you're in danger, and let's say all men are bad, and I'm using this as a general example, then you create a barrier.
Mm.
And you are not open, you're not joyful, you're very distant, and you're very kind of analytical and not being open to receiving. So what
Mhm.
happens if people feel that, slash men feel that, then they act also distant and they're not being very nice because what is up with her? Why is she being so cold and so rude and whatever else your
Right.
behavior is? So what you think you feel and what you feel you do, right? Your actions present your thoughts. And then the reaction from the world is what you have. But if this goes this way, then we can reverse engineer that. So what you
Mhm.
have, we need to look at what you do, and then we need to look at what you feel, and then we need to look at what you think, and then we need to look at what you
Mhm.
believe. And the same process goes both ways. And we can reprogram your brain because neuroplasticity allows you to change thinking. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like you think once and you go, oh, today from today on, I love all men. No, that's not going to work. It takes some work, and you need to prove your brain wrong. So you need to start finding examples that prove you wrong. If I believe
Mhm.
all men are bad, I need to find as many possible examples when men did good things for me and when I was happy around them. And then you put a dent in that belief.
Right.
And
Right.
then you get to start changing your thinking. It lessens the intensity. And then you go, well, some men are bad. And that is true. But
Yeah.
some is not all. And some allows for ability to get to know people, allows for warmth, curiosity.
Mhm.
So working with belief systems are attached to your feelings. Your feelings are attached to your brain because they're chemical releases. And
Mhm.
those things are controlled. Neuroplasticity means you can change. And guess what? We used to think neuroplasticity ends at 25. Now we know, without shadow of the doubt, that till the day you die, you have neuroplasticity.
Wow.
That's why the statement, it's never too late, is so true.
Well, it sounds like we have all control of our mindset practices, right?
Absolutely.
And those are what's going to lead to making us feel clear, right? Have that clear path. You know, it's amazing how just a simple tool can help us set us up for success. We have to just use the tool, right? You don't use it, you lose it.
Absolutely.
So what are the more natural ways that we can, use this before resorting to any types of medication?
Well, that depends on what, because sometimes medication is necessary, but in a lot of cases, we can work with your brain without medication. And
Mhm.
that is the whole system. We analyze your blood work. So I'm going to invite all of you to do once a year and know your numbers. See, being in the norm doesn't mean it's optimum. So for example, if you're lacking ferritin, iron, magnesium, D3, it's high probability that you feel a lot of anxiousness. It's high probability you're feeling sometimes depressed, you have low moods, and you have
Right.
anger management issues. And
Hmm.
that's very simple. Do the blood work and check if you're in the 60th percentile of the norm. Not if you're, let's say, D3 norm is between 30 and 100. If you're at 35, that D3 is doing absolutely nothing for you. You
Hmm.
need to be at least at 50 to
Hmm.
60 in the norm for
Hmm.
this to get to your brain and actually help your brain function properly.
Yes. Wow.
So those are the natural things that don't cost a lot of money. You just need to get your blood work. There are 10 things that are in regards to your brain and mood swings. If you're in perimenopause, please do not ignore it. And
Yes.
I just had few conversation with few women and they go, I feel like I'm not myself. I'm like, how old are you? She's like, I'm 47. I'm like, you're in perimenopause. But they say I'm not. Yes, you are, because perimenopause
Yes.
lasts 10 years before you get into menopause.
Yeah. And you know,
So many symptoms.
blood work doesn't always tell the truth because
Exactly.
I went from perimenopausal, which did not show in my blood work, to full-blown menopause within a few months. So that's not, blood work does not always tell the truth. So
And
you
not
have
all
to
women have hot
advocate.
flashes, right?
Yeah, you have to just advocate for yourself. And if you are feeling this way, then you know, if you say to yourself, and that's what this whole brand that I've built is on, I want to take back my me, because you feel like you lost the feeling of the person that you was before, right? So
Absolutely.
so you just want to get back to the me that you once were. And
And that is
you,
absolutely possible. And don't get distracted with women saying, oh, I got hot flashes. Hot flashes are maybe 30%.
yeah,
Joint pains,
yeah,
fatigue, brain fog.
yes.
So all of those things, and they can be mitigated with a good doctor with supplements or hormonal replacement therapy, depending how severe that is.
I think the last time I checked, there's like 87
Yeah.
symptoms of
Yeah.
perimenopause.
Yep.
87. It's a lot.
It's a
And
lot.
you just have to advocate. You just have to stand up and say, you know, there is something wrong with me. Don't just throw me a drug. You advocate for yourself. Don't let this happen, Get with someone that is a menopausal specialist that knows.
Absolutely.
And I'm not talking about a doctor. You can see your doctor, but your doctor had about 1 hour of menopause in residency.
Absolutely.
Get with a woman that has been there, okay, done that, and advocated through it and did the studies and
And I'm going to give a shout out to Dr. Mary Claire, who is a
lived it.
world-class specialist, has lists of doctors, including doctors.
But I want to say Dr. Mary Claire Haver.
Yes, that's the one I'm talking about.
Dr. Mary Claire Haver was, not a menopausal advocate till she went through it.
Absolutely.
And thank God that she did.
We all will. 100% of female population will. So it's coming.
It's coming. It's
And
coming.
it's
But she
influencing your
realized,
brain. It's influencing your memory. It's influencing
yeah,
your moods. It's influencing your sexual
yeah,
drive, your femininity. Don't
everything.
discard that. All of that can be mitigated 80% of the time without medication. But you need to
Definitely.
start taking care of yourself. You do need to exercise. You do
Yeah.
need to go outside. You do need to eat healthy.
Yes.
You do need to watch your weight. You
Yes.
have to stop watching TV 24/7. You
have to make sure that you are weight training,
yes.
because you do not want osteoporosis. You do not want fractures.
Osteopenia.
You do not want any of that kinds of stuff. So you have to make sure that you are lifting those weights and you are strengthening your bone, your muscle. So just get it, and it doesn't have to be extremely heavy weights, but just get in the gym and start throwing some weight around.
If not, get your weighted vest and go for walks with a weighted vest.
That can help also. So, this question is, tell me this, why do we get overwhelmed? Why do we get stressed? And how can we change that?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
The answer is because we're human and because we were presented with certain behaviors and certain thought process that we've adopted. People who were around us didn't know any better, so that's what they did. So overwhelm is actually living in a future and expecting results. It's part of worry. And unfortunately, we women have a different brain and it's structured differently. And the worry part is pretty typical for our brains. So how to get out of overwhelm? What I want you to do when you go, oh my God, I'm not going to do this. I have so many things to do. This is too much, blah, blah, blah. I want you to take a piece of paper and write all of the things you need to do down, look at the paper, take a deep breath in, put a big smile on your face and say, oh, that's all it is. Then you're going to choose one thing you're going to do something about, one thing out of the whole list. And when you do it, you're going to celebrate the living daylights out of it. You're going to jump, you're going to dance, you're going to scream, and you're going to move around, and you're going to do breastitude and everything you can to feel joy.
Bring that energy, huh?
Exactly. Now, this is a method of also rewiring our brain, one of the ones we teach, and you can read it in a book, The Magic of Dreaming Big, Acting Small, and Achieving Success. It's available on Amazon, and it teaches you how to get it out of overwhelm and stress. Because stress, most of the time, unless a tiger is chasing you or somebody with a knife, is self-induced. And it's you comparing yourself to others. The challenge with that is that we should be comparing ourselves to others to see the possibilities. So self to others for possibilities, self to self for progress. Are you doing better than you did yesterday? You're awesome. Celebrate. See,
Wow.
we see only little tiny things of what other people do. We see snapshots.
Yes.
You don't see years and years rolling
Behind the scenes. Yeah. Yeah.
And we compare ourselves to the snapshot. How many people say, I had a crappy day and let me talk about it on social media how awful life is? Not many. But the truth is that our days are not made up out of only successes. And notice that when you get that raise, when you get that win, you celebrate for what? 1 day, 2 days, 3 days? And then you go back to being your regular self. That means your brain has created a pathway that you're looking for the outcome. The moment you ignore the outcome and you start celebrating the coming, which is part of techniques that we teach, you actually start enjoying life because you know the outcome is coming either way.
Right, right. Wow. So, is there anything that you would like to add to all this?
I don't know who's listening, but if you're listening, do not let yourself say that you're too old. Do not yourself say that it's too much, too difficult, too hard. Success is not easy, doesn't come easy. And if it does, then it's not success. It's just luck.
Yeah.
Notice that your life, you build grit through the difficulties. You build white matter in your brain through doing things you don't feel like doing. Doing things you don't feel like doing literally changes your brain. Make yourself things do that you don't feel like doing. Even if you don't feel like going for that walk, make yourself go. It actually gives you a feeling of satisfaction. I guarantee you it does after you finish. That actually helped to your gray matter and your white matter to develop, which allows later on for easier decisions, more joy in life, calmer lifestyle. Don't compare yourself to others, and that's easy to say, but I want you to look at yourself yesterday. What did you do better yesterday that you didn't do? Because if you make those 2 millimeter shifts, if you add them over a year, 2 millimeters times 360, that's huge progress.
Right, right.
And remember, we underestimate what we can do in 10 years, and we overestimate what we can do in a year.
Wow. Yeah. So thank you for that. That's amazing. Where can one find you at? Where are you at?
I'm in Houston, and you can find me on Your Brain Coach D. You can find me, that's my website, Your Brain Coach D, where you can find my individual and corporate services. And then you can find me on LinkedIn, Your Brain Coach D, or Dominika Staniewicz. You can find me at the website of the Neuro Encoding Institute. You can also find me on Instagram, Your Brain Coach D, and on Facebook, Your Brain Coach D. So Your Brain Coach D is a place to go.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been such an insightful conversation. You've opened our eyes to so much today. And thank you to all of our listeners too. And also, if you are looking for a support community, jump on over to the Facebook group, Successfully Radiant Women. In that group, we love all over each other, help each other. And it's just an amazing, amazing community. So jump on over there and listen. If you like this podcast, please like, download, subscribe, share it with someone who needs it. When you share this podcast, this is what helps other people find us, other women who need us. So until next time, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Dominika.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Ginger.
much.
It was my absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you all, and bye for now.